Hi, welcome to STEAM Kids Virtual Classroom at the Colorado Model Railroad Museum. I'm Michelle Kempema, and with me I have Peter Romero, expert science geek.
Science geek, yep. That's my title.
And we're back with our whole Mission to Mars program we're doing with NASA in expectation of Perseverance, the rover landing.
Just about 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, about 2 weeks from now, February 18th.
So exciting.
I know, it's super exciting. So Peter has some information on how to see Mars in the sky, and I'm interested in hearing because I honestly don't know how to find it.
Yeah, and last couple episodes I wasn't sure, so I actually looked it up. So it's actually going to be real easy. So if you go outside tonight or any night in the next couple of weeks at about 7 o'clock and you turn to the southwest, so like right between south and west, and then look up pretty high in the sky. It's at an elevation of about 60 degrees, so fairly high, and it should just be right there. So just make sure there's no clouds and it's a clear night and you should see it. And on February 18th, the day that the Perseverance rover lands, Mars is going to be right near the half moon.
Oh, so it'll be close to the moon in the sky?
On that night. So that'll be a cool night to look at Mars if it's clear.
And you know, the reason you can't just go out and say Mars is always right here is because what we learned, planets rotate at different speeds, different distances, so our sky is always different where the planets are.
Well, the stars move too, but the planets move like against the stars.
Against them. Yeah, so you have to really look stuff up. There's apps out there for phones with the stargazing guides.
I have an app on my phone, and there's also a website, actually, if you go to this website called stellarium-web.com. So,
Stellarium?
Stellarium.
Okay, we'll have to put the link
I'll put that
there.
in the YouTube description.
Because I don't know how to spell that one.
And you can like set whatever time you want, whatever day, and it'll show you what the sky looks like.
That's really neat. So you could look in the morning and know what you're going to look at that night or something. That'd be, I like that. That's
I love that kind of stuff.
Thanks for explaining that. So I'll go out and look at the southwest about 60 degrees because you know 90 is straight up. So, think about that.
60 is higher than it seems, but it's not all the way directly up. And also, if you have binoculars, or if you have a small telescope, you might even be able to see Mars instead of just as a dot. You might even be able to see it as a little circle.
Oh, that's really neat. So there you go. You can go out and look at Mars tonight or in the next week. That's great. So we were talking about Perseverance, and I was excited to find out that there's a little special surprise inside Perseverance after it lands. So we learned this in the lesson this week with NASA. There is a helicopter inside Perseverance.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the size of this helicopter.
Right. Well, this is going to be the first time we've ever done powered flight on another planet. And it's a small helicopter. It's about 19 inches.
So about this tall.
It's about just a little taller than this ruler.
But then the wingspan, I think, is almost 4 feet. So the wings are quite big.
Yeah, 4 feet is pretty large.
It's pretty large.
And the reason they have to be so large is because Mars has a very thin atmosphere. So to generate enough lift to get off the ground there, Mars only has about 1% of the pressure, the atmospheric pressure that Earth has.
So is that 1% of the molecules in the, if you think of it as, well for lift? Well, no, it's pressure, isn't it?
It's pressure. So like it's a little more complicated than that, but yeah, it's less than 1% of our pressure.
And what's the gravity difference between Earth and Mars?
Mars has about like between 1/3 and 2/5 of Earth's gravity. So those two things actually kind of...
Yeah, lower. Wow.
They balance each other out. So it has less atmosphere, so that makes it harder to fly. But it has less gravity, so that makes it easier
to fly. So the whole point of the helicopter has a name, by the way, Ingenuity.
Ingenuity.
I thought that was a neat name. So we have Perseverance with Ingenuity inside it. And so the point of it is to test flight. It's not part of Perseverance' overall goal of seeing if there was previous life or could life survive on Mars. This one is truly on its own little mission to fly, just to see if it can fly.
Yeah, and also to take some aerial photos of the terrain because satellites can't get as close as the helicopter is going to be able to get to take pictures.
And rovers can't go down cliffs or over really rough terrain. So the point is to maybe create something bigger in the future. If this one's successful, then they'll do another rover helicopter that could fly on Mars.
Yeah.
So
and it's light. It's like a little drone. It's not like a shaped like a manned helicopter. It's shaped like a little four-legged.
So think of it more like a drone with legs.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have it pictured here. And in fact, we have a link to the coloring page for you. And so I colored today. I got this one and Misty did this one. But you can see it's shaped like a small drone. Here's its wings. And it has solar panels on the top. And it is solar powered. And I thought that's really technology that has made it possible to send something to Mars and let it continue to function. Because the solar will charge the batteries inside it. And so if I learned two things that it does with batteries that I thought was interesting. One, it flies because the ability to fly. It also keeps it warm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So because you remember how cold a Martian night is?
Very cold, like 100 below zero.
100 plus below zero. So those components need to be kept warm. So part of the point of the solar panel is to charge a battery just to keep the components warm inside it so that it can do its flight every day.
And Ingenuity has to be fairly autonomous, meaning it has to operate on its own for a lot of the time. And the reason for that is because Mars is so far away, you can't just be sitting with your little joystick on a screen and controlling it in real time, because light, like signals from radio signals, take about 11 minutes to get to Mars and then 11 minutes to get back.
That's pretty fast for the vastness of space.
I mean, it's fast.
It seems fast, but that is the speed of light. So when we see the reflection off Mars, it's taking 11 minutes for that light to get to Earth from Mars so we can see it.
Yeah. And so when the scientists are sitting in the control room controlling this, they send a command to the helicopter. Who knows for 22 minutes if it did it? So it kind of has to be intelligent. It has to be able to find its own waypoints and navigate to them by itself.
But there's a lot of pre-programming in it.
Yeah.
And then the scientists would say, run this program. And so they'd send that message. And I think it's going to be fantastic.
Just think of the suspense.
Oh, yeah.
Being a scientist sitting there, like, do this. Okay, now we wait for 22 minutes.
And I did read that the first day, it's just hover. Will it fly?
It doesn't
Will
actually
it lift?
go very high. It goes only about 15 feet off the ground.
Yeah, and so I think they have a lot of lessons planned over 30 days. I think they have specific things. And after that, who knows what they'll do.
Yeah, I don't know
Might
what
try
the
new
plan is.
things
It's only
with
like
it.
in the first month that it'll be doing flights, and then I'm not sure.
But really exciting. And so we wanted to talk a little bit more about lift and the atmosphere and stuff. And we have a cool example that comes from NASA's website, and we're going to make some helicopters. So there'll be a link to this page on their website, and this is going to fly. Can you believe that? Look at that. It's just dotted lines and letters.
Yep. Let's put it together.
Let's do it. So we'll cut this in half. So one for you and one for me.
All right.
Then we're going to cut on the dotted lines. So when you print this out at home, you're going to cut all of the edges. And I just cut all the edges first. And then you're going to snip into the paper without cutting it all the way off. So I'll show you what we're going to do here.
Michelle's our craft queen.
We did a craft when we did flight last summer as our STEAM Kids Virtual Classroom, and we used more of a nature-looking seed type of helicopter as our pattern, but this is the NASA pattern, and I really like it. So we have it at this point, so now you're just going to snip in only to the end of the dotted lines, so just kind of aim for that, and you're going to snip down the center here. Okay, so now we've got it snipped. So you should have some flappy paper here. We got to create some wings. So A and B need to fold opposite of each other. So I ended up folding A closer to me and fold it on the angle. If you see, this is not straight across because lift happens when your wing has a little shape to it and a little angle, right? So make sure that you fold your wing at an angle and not just straight. And so then B, I can see that line from this side. So I'm going to fold him on the same angle. So you should have kind of a pointy.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, so make sure you get that, and then you'll see they're going to be like this. Kind of just sticking out in opposite directions.
Got it.
Okay, now the bottom half, X, Y, and Z, we're going to fold X
Do
in
X first.
over the top towards the center.
Along that hard line,
Yep,
solid line.
along the hard, straight, solid line this time. And you're going to do the same with Y. Just fold it right over X.
Still in?
Still in.
Okay,
yep,
so they
same
both go in.
direction. So they both go towards the top. So did you see that? X goes in, Y goes in. Now you can see through the paper the line for Z, and Z folds up towards the top. So and now I can see the letter Z better through the paper. So we have this shape.
Cool.
That's kind of cool, huh?
You know what this reminds me of? Like a maple leaf. Have you ever seen
Right.
like in the fall or the late summer when the leaves are falling off the trees and they spin?
And they spin. That's what we made in our other classroom. We did it as a seed, and it was shaped like the seed.
Nice.
So this is neat to see it shaped more like a NASA helicopter, like a like something that would go to Mars. I tried earlier the difference between taping this and letting it free fall, and there really wasn't much of a difference. Other than I think this actually creates a little more drag at the beginning to get it spinning.
Yeah.
So I think I liked it better leaving it out and truly just having the paper. I've also seen this craft done with a paper clip for weight.
That's what I thought we would do, but you said it
this
didn't
paper,
really need
because
a
we
clip.
folded the paper in, we've added the weight that was missing. The paper clip gave it where we actually keep this paper as part of the craft.
Yeah, so like when this falls, the air is pushing up against the blades and it causes it to rotate because of this angle.
Because they're angled a little bit, so it creates lift. If we remember how lift works, this is going to create lift, which is also going to create spin, which will create a little drag, which will let it fall slowly like a helicopter.
And if it was a real powered helicopter, then it would be kind of doing it in reverse, generating its own spin, which would be pushing down against the air, which would keep it hovering.
Keep it up in the air.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so dropping it from here to the table, it's probably not going to spin yet. It needs a little bit of free fall. We can try it.
3, 2, 1. Oh,
It started to spin a little
Mine
bit.
did.
Try it again. Oh, it did spin a little bit.
Totally.
Now we need to drop it from something really tall.
Where should we go?
I think we should go up in our break room.
Cool.
Okay, we'll
Meet
be
you
right
up
back.
Here we are up in the break room, ready to drop our helicopters.
Yep, we're gonna see how much they spin on the way down. I think it'll be fun to do from up here.
If you're at home, you
Yeah.
can go up on the staircase or something like that.
Yep, if you have like a mezzanine or something. Okay, here we go. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Look at them go.
Oh, wow. That's really cool. 3, 2, 1.
Well, that was sure
It
fun.
was.
I really enjoyed seeing this fall for 2 stories.
We kind of went crazy making these.
We made a few more. So you don't forget you have this piece that you can download. We have the coloring page, which I really enjoyed coloring. I actually did atmosphere for Mars.
Oh, it looks
went out
good. I
into
didn't notice
space.
your sky.
So I don't know if you can see that. I did actually shade sky out into space. I have no idea if that's completely correct, but that's what I thought it would look like.
I heard an interesting thing. So Mars, I'm going to talk about the atmosphere for a sec.
Okay.
We talked about how Mars's atmosphere is mostly carbon dioxide, but the color of the sky comes from the dust.
That comes up into the atmosphere.
But if the dust wasn't in the sky, I've heard that if the dust wasn't in the atmosphere, I've heard that the sky would be a dark purple color.
Oh, so yeah, that makes sense because we even were like seeing more of space.
Yeah.
Ours is light blue because there's so much atmosphere to filter the color through.
So this little bit of purple up here is
Yeah.
kind of realistic.
Oh, well, good. I guessed right on that.
Good work.
It was fun to color though. So you have the coloring activity, you can make your own helicopter, and we're excited to see Perseverance land, and then later we get to see Ingenuity come out of it.
Yeah.
So that'll probably happen a month after it lands, or I'm not sure how close in time.
I think it's pretty
Is it pretty
quick
close?
after.
So that's something we can watch for at the end of the month. That's
Yeah. So
exciting.
what are we talking about next week?
Next week is rockets.
Oh, fun.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining us today, and we'll see you next week on STEAM Kids Virtual Classroom.